Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Uncensored with 7K. I am 7K, a relationship, life, and manifestation coach, combining all three to help you bring in the life, the abundance, and love you so much want, need, and desire. Alright guys, so today's going to be yet another super juicy video, and that is about hot and cold behavior. You know, too often many of us have experienced the in and outs of the ex texting, calling, being warm, friendly, affectionate, and it feels like we're back together. It's happening. And all of a sudden, the text slows down, the calls slow down, and they ghost, they disappear, or they become angry for no reason at all. And it's a very trying time. It's an emotional roller coaster, very confusing, and adds more pain to the existing journey of the breakup. So we're going to talk about a couple of reasons why this is happening and some of the things you can do to help remedy or cure a lot of this hot and cold behavior. Before I get started, guys, I want to remind you that my smoke detector contest is still in effect until Halloween Day. I have a smoke detector that I believe has a small Halloween ghost in it. No matter what we do, change the batteries, reset it. Reset all the smoke detectors. This thing will not stop talking low battery. So we're having some fun with it. So let's name the smoke detector on Halloween morning. I'll announce the winner. You'll get a 30-minute complimentary session with me and just offering a little bit of ways to have fun. So if you hear the smoke detector in the background, let's name her or him, because at this point she's been around and we just ordered a new smoke detector because even our electrician couldn't get her to shut up. So with that said, post it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I'm going to be doing my first live here in a couple of days. And if you're not subscribed, you won't know when I'm coming on. And I would love to interact and meet a lot of you guys in the 7K community. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to the viewers and subscribers for allowing me to help and for supporting my channel. All right, guys. So with all that said, the holidays are upon us. There's a lot of festivities and decorations and movies and fun recipes and parties and events and gifts and costumes. The love is in the air. The smell of the holidays is in the air. The leaves are changing. There's snow. There's cold. There's so much going on. And many of the dumpies are really, really feeling it bad. And I totally get it because I remember that. But make no mistake about it, guys. The dumper is feeling it just as much and possibly even worse because they chose the breakup. So with that said, you are going to experience this time of the year or have already experienced hot and cold behavior. And what that is they finally reach out and they are consistent and loving and affectionate and sweet. And it feels like when we first met. And then eventually they either become angry, the texts are slowing down, the calls are slowing down, the interaction is slowing down, and eventually they even ghost you or disappear, often leaving you very confused, very frustrated with a lot of different emotions. And this can happen over and over and over and over. Now, you must have got to ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? A lot of my clients come to me saying, hey, Sevyn, what am I doing wrong to get them to leave again? What can I do to get them to stay? So hot and cold behavior happens for many reasons. So we're going to talk about a few of the most common reasons and what you can do to cure or alleviate these behaviors. One of the very many reasons why this happens is, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, because you're allowing it. You have no boundaries. And it's already scary enough to go in no contact. And now you're telling me that I now have to put more boundaries in place. Well, if that's the case, how will they ever come back? Guys, you got to understand psychologically what breeds attraction, what breeds obsession, what breeds love, what breeds the feelings of wanting to be around someone. And it's not being a pushover, and it's definitely not being a doormat. When a person has left and they've set out to be single again, and they eventually get to the point of missing you and wanting you back, or just tiptoeing into the idea of wanting you back, they will reach out, and it will surprise you and catch you off guard because it happens normally when you least expect it. And the texting and the calls begin, and maybe the interactions begin. But the unfortunate part is that you have become way too accessible, way too available. You don't know when to say no, I can't, and I won't. And oftentimes, becoming extremely available, accessible, being a do girl or a do boy will cause them to get turned off. There's no challenge in that. You're not allowing them to earn you. You're making it way too easy for them to bring you back. And so the notion of, well, I can have the best of both worlds. And that's eventually why they disappear, because there's nothing really there to fight for, to earn back. People really cherish the things that they have to earn and fight for. And so you are making yourself way too available. You must learn to have boundaries. When to say, I'm not available, I cannot meet you. When to delay the response in the text. When to prioritize everything you're doing around you and not them. When a person leaves you, they lose all access, availability, and benefits of you. And upon their return, regardless, you must ease into giving them small parts of you. You must pace yourself. In other words, you should not be texting for hours and hours immediately. You should not be taking every phone call. You should not be canceling personal plans with your friends, family, or children for them. They are no longer a priority. They are no longer on a pedestal. They are not even in a relationship with you. So, hot and cold behavior is them reacting to missing you and wanting you and seeing you. And when they get enough of that and too much of that too fast, they will withdraw. So, with that said, it is time that you set boundaries and enforce them the moment that they surface. Take some time to respond to the text. Be short and sweet. No need to send them a book of messages. No need to have every phone call answered. We do not respond to breadcrumbs. We don't respond to late night calls and invites out. We do not cancel plans with our friends, family, and children. We proceed to live our life and allow them to earn your trust, your time, and your love back. Another reason that a person will present hot and cold behavior is because they are still extremely confused. Oftentimes, when a person is missing the dumpy enough and wants to come back, they no longer can recall a lot of the bad things or the poor characteristics that may have contributed to the breakup. That is called cognitive bias. And so basically over time, being away from you and not hearing from you and seeing you, they will start to forget all of the things that caused the breakup. All they can think of is the good things, and that will draw them back in. But as soon as they get just enough close to you and it starts to feel real to them, they can withdraw because they're still very uncertain of the connection being reconciled. And you must allow them to make that choice on their own. It must be 100% their idea. So if you are living your life and you are working on you and they have reached out and you eventually reached back out and all feels good and they start to show cold behavior, you must mirror them. If they get a little distant, you become a little distant. If they send short text messages, you respond with short responses. In other words, guys, you cannot press, pursue, chase, give more, become more accessible, more available. You must continue to allow the distance to do the work for you. You must allow your absence to do the work for you. So very similar to the first thing that I said, not having boundaries. In a case where the person is still extremely confused, you must let them reach this decision on their own by simply mirroring them. You don't give more, you don't say more, less is best. So ladies and gentlemen, please back off. If they get distant, then you must become distant. If they go silent, then you go silent. You do not do more simply because you're feeling them go cold. Let them see that you have self-worth, self-value, boundaries, and you are every bit worth the effort to gain your love, trust, and time back. Another reason that a person will go hot and cold behaviors is because, unfortunately, the dumpy has developed these stories and beliefs about their ex. Oftentimes, we are left feeling very vindictive and resentful because, hey, the person we love left us. And a lot of times that includes having children and finances go away, and you're living somewhere and you have to go somewhere else. A breakup can cause a lot of turmoil. Doesn't mean you stop loving the person, but you have developed these stories and these ideas of the person that might not even be true. I had a client who had this idea or this story that the person that left her had planned it all along, and all he wanted to do was love on her and have her believing that he was the perfect man for her. And one day he set the plan forward to abandon her and their children, and she developed these ideas that this was something he planned from day one. When he ended their relationship, she was, of course, like anyone else, devastated. And a few months later, they began to reconcile. The only problem is she couldn't get these thoughts and story and beliefs out of her mind. So any little thing that this man did will trigger her to believe that he was setting into motion yet another plan to just abandon her and her children. And at the end of the day, when I started coaching them together, we discovered this was not the case at all. She was completely blinded by a lot of what she contributed to the breakup because her focus was protecting herself from this so-called plan that he had of just wanting to abandon her and the children intentionally. And so every time that they started talking again and hanging out again, she would start to have conversations and display these behaviors that suggested that she was living into those beliefs. And he would get turned off, disappointed, frustrated, go cold, and eventually disappear. So you must be extremely self-aware of your thoughts and the story that you are living into and the beliefs that you are living into about this person, because you must start new and fresh. And you must leave the old man, i.e. the old stories about him or her and the relationship and the breakup behind. There will be a perfect time for the conversations of the breakup and getting back together. But in the beginning of reconciliation, that is not the time. You must be light and fun and humorous, and you must give them a little bit of a challenge. Don't be so available. But on the same token, remember who you were that magnetized, attracted this person, made you so captivating that they entered into a commitment with you. That is what you want to remember. That is what you want to live into. And oftentimes when you are separated, when you are broken up, this is the best time to change your aesthetics. Maybe get a new hairstyle, a new haircut, a new hair color. Maybe change your wardrobe. How do you dress? Maybe show something different. Go out and get adventurous. Have something to talk about. Did you go anywhere that's new? Did you try new hobbies, new passions? Did you have different conversations? Did you meet new people? Did you see new places and things? You must be a person that is enticing. And if you are a person that is constantly being confrontational, argumentative, complacent, complaining, pessimistic, and negative, you will be a turn off, and eventually you will get triggered and send them running for the hills time and time again. So ladies and gentlemen, while you're separated in this breakup, get as much help as you can with anything that you need to deal with psychologically, mentally, emotionally, physically. Time to get to working on you so that when they re-encounter you, they're encountering an amazing person that's pleasant to be around, that they look forward to staying around and being consistent with. Otherwise, you will eventually again get the hot and cold behavior. Another reason that you are getting hot and cold behavior is because your person is possibly in a rebound relationship and they are struggling as to how to leave one to get back to the other. Very common situation. Oftentimes, rebounds fail 98% of the time within the first 6 months to 12 years or 3 months to 6 months. Rebound relationships, or as we refer to it as monkey branching, is just a distraction and alleviation for the dumper as a result of the breakup. And normally these relationships crumble, but a lot of times they're ready to come back to you while they're in that relationship. And now here I am again having to yet break another heart or end another relationship. And if you can only imagine the struggle of that person. So they finally have reached out to you. Maybe you do or don't know about the rebound, and you guys are talking again, and it's pleasant and it's fun. You've done all the things necessary to make yourself in the perfect space or posture yourself correctly. You have boundaries. You're not as accessible, but you're fun, you're civil, you're light, maybe a hint of indifference, but you are basically being craved, wanted, and the ex is driving themselves crazy. They are feeling torn between two people. There's guilt, there's discomfort, there's frustration. And oftentimes they will display anger and ghost again because they don't know how to end one to go back to the other. And what is my backlash as a result of these choices that I have made? Oftentimes they're angry and frustrated with themselves because they've put themselves in a bind. And so you will notice hot and cold, they'll come in and they will come out. So you must continue to stand by your boundaries. You must continue to allow them to make the choice. Please do not interact with this person sexually. It will be the biggest mistake in this moment. You want to keep your distance and mirror them. At this time, let them make the decision on their own. They have to be the one to correct the space that they've put themselves in. That is not your job. Your job is not to fix it for them. Your job is not to decide for them, to convince them, to manipulate them into leaving someone to come back to you. That must be 1,000,000% their choice. They cannot leave you for someone else or leave someone else for you, because eventually you will be so expected to be so much and put on such a high pedestal because now they've made a choice to leave someone else for you, and they're going to be having extremely high expectations that oftentimes cannot be met. So you must leave them alone and let them decide for themselves. They have to leave that person for you through their own merits, faculties, and choice. So guys, when you are feeling that the person you are with is getting distant, let them go distant. Just let them. Mirror them. Maintain your space, your distance, your boundaries, and allow yourself to be earned. If a person is treating you with inconsideration and they're constantly breadcrumbing you, guys, you must go completely no contact again, because you must reassert your self-worth and your value. And you've got to understand that you come first. You love you before you can love them. They chose to leave. They lose access and your availability, and that is purely on them. Continue to live your life. Continue to improve what matters to you. Dedicate your time and energy to those places, persons, and things that matter to you. And you must also consider just sharing with them, hey, listen, as much as I still have feelings and all feels well, when you do start to reach out, I cannot continue this pattern. It is affecting my progress and the things that matter to me. So if you're not ready for something more, then if you could please allow me time and space to continue to work on me. Because we are still human beings with feelings. We're not puppets. We're not dolls. We're not to be taken as entertainment. And we're certainly not here to be the one to help them through their journey of the breakup. They chose to put us there, put themselves there, and they must get themselves out of that. And you can then become the person that they want because you are showing discipline, you are showing maturity, you are showing self-respect and dignity and your self-worth and value. If you have any questions about cold and hot behavior, need some coaching sessions, my details as to how to book a session is in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and support this channel. Remember, guys, the power is yours, and on to the next video.